What is going on, guys and girls? It's Ghost Robo. Day 1 of E3 in the books, in the bags, in my throat. I'm losing my voice, so it must have been a good time. I didn't even do anything that crazy. Just played a bunch of games. And now I have two hooligans here helping me describe what went down. We're comfy. We're cozy. It's real late. So welcome to the most intimate podcast we've ever recorded. Sitting on a couch here with two of my favorite YouTubers that I've met this week. One of them... he's got a real love for rap music,
Scott?
Deep South food,
ketchup.
His name, I think his name,
One of those things is real.
Greg, Volatile Greg.
I wish I was named Greg.
Do you? Greg's such like a... I knew a guy named Greg. I punched him in the nose. It's the only time I ever hurt somebody.
What?
It was a total accident. He threw sand in my face in like first grade.
To be fair, stop
grade.
me if you think you don't want to have this said on the podcast. I saw Ghost Robo punch something yesterday.
Hold up.
What's happening?
Move on.
I'm your host, Zach Ghost Robo, and I also met a guy from across the pond. He
A very big pond.
kept following me around the convention center, asking for autographs, photos, all sorts of stuff. So I invited him over. He ate a lot of our food,
He ate all our food.
slept in my bed,
Yeah.
and now he's wearing my clothes. Scott Game Riot.
These are not your clothes. They're too bland and boring in your way.
Oh,
You also didn't sleep on his bed.
No, I didn't do that either.
Did you
I followed him.
You did follow him?
I tried to find him. He wouldn't. He kept running away.
all I see you tweeting about on Twitter is, "Where's Ghost Robo? I can't find Ghost Robo. This internet sucks. Can't find Ghost Robo."
Well, the internet does suck.
It does truly.
I
suck.
was trying to find him too. He was doing other stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
Games.
I have a list here. I had a lot of stuff I played. Scott, you played a lot of stuff. Gabe,
I did.
you basically played what I played.
Yeah.
And we're gonna just kind of go through this, not in any like preferential order, but just in like an E3 daily order. The first thing I did at E3, show floor. Didn't open up. I got my badge, and
We got our badges.
all got our badges, and
Yeah.
that was really smooth. And then we thought it opened up at 10, but instead it opened up at noon. So
Was that because of Nintendo or something?
No.
it was actually.
What? No.
Everyone had to watch
See?
the Mastery.
That was a terrible conference.
Nintendo.
Hold up. We haven't had a chance to talk about this. So I want to let you know that Nintendo is a company that sets its own rules. It doesn't follow
Terrible,
it doesn't
terrible
follow
game.
anybody else's standards.
Terrible console.
Doesn't follow anybody else's
Terrible
way of
controller.
life. It's the most respectable of the three because it follows its own heart, its own path.
Yeah.
It makes its own way. It's the lawnmower that carves squiggles into your grandma's garden.
I don't
It's
know-
not the one that follows a back and forth checkerboard.
Okay, Scott, I don't know if you know this, but this year Nintendo is very family focused.
They are. Listen, all of their games can be enjoyed by you and your friends. So the first game I played, I got to do the Halo 5 HoloLens experience. I left Jake, my brother, and Gabe out in the halls. They were too afraid to venture into space with me.
Yeah.
So I went in this fake spaceship, put the HoloLens on. I was super skeptical. In fact, my PR person was like, "Hey, Zach, I gotta let you know that you're gonna be doing some VR. I don't know if you still want to do it because they've read my tweets." And I was like, "No, it's cool. I want to check it out." So they were
I
like,
want to be disappointed.
they were all space age in there. They had like lab coats on. I was like, they're measuring my eyes. Then I put the HoloLens on, and that thing is like legit. Like
How legit?
it was very legit, and especially because the demo you saw at E3 was like a Minecraft table, right? Very static, but this was a dynamic environmental experience where I was actually walking to waypoints that looked very Halo-esque, approaching a table, seeing a Spartan come out, explain the map, go over different objectives, and kind of cover war zones, which is their new mode. And it's hard to describe HoloLens without visual, of which I have none. But
I'll do it.
okay.
No.
It's really just, it's that impressive. Like I was legit probably the most skeptical one of VR, and this isn't VR, it's AR, and that's why I enjoyed it. VR, I'm still not into, but this AR thing, it's probably years off, but it could be cool. Now, we all played, well, you didn't, but Scott, you and I played Halo 5 Warzones. What did you think of that new mode?
It's freaking pretty good.
They're claiming it's like their dream mode that they wanted to make.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Like getting all the vehicles and all the weapons you want to use. All the AI. There's quite a lot of AIs and like the little soldier people.
Yeah, when I was first explaining it to Gabe, he's like, "Oh, it sounds like Titanfall," but
Yeah, a little bit.
the big difference here is that in Titanfall, the NPCs served as like window dressing for when you were going to the players.
Yeah.
The pilot versus pilot combat with Titan on Titan. Here, the enemies are set up and structured in a way that they feel more like mini bosses and a totally valuable objective. Like, for me to go and fight just a bunch of the grunts in Titanfall was like, that's a baby's job, right? But here, if you go and approach one of these mobs that is centered around a stronger character, like, you can die on your own.
Definitely. They're pretty tough. Like, the shields takes a lot of hits. Some of these, I'm not sure. So how does it work? So you go to a unit, so like a boss sort of guy. He's surrounded by units. Then so you kill that guy, and then what happens? I can't.
You get a lot of victory points.
Okay.
So the game is played to 1,000 victory points, at least the version we saw. And you get points from killing guys, other opponents, red versus blue. You get points from killing these boss mobs that drop down. There was even like a spaceship mob creature that came in that you could take down, and then I believe take control of the spaceship, which was pretty cool. And all the while you're leveling up throughout. So it's almost got that MMO or
You getting like extra
MOBA,
tokens and stuff.
yeah, kind of vibe where you're going from level 1, 2, 3, and when you do that, you're unlocking more and more of your arsenal through these weapon cache points, where you can spend your currency on, you know, a rocket launcher, a Spartan laser, a needler,
Sniper and stuff.
a beam rifle,
And then
etc.
vehicles as well. So.
It sounds like a zombies mode with like bosses.
Except that it's handled in such a way that to me feels very first-person shooter legit. Like, it's not goofy. It's like the perfect amalgamation of everything that has been tried lately. I feel like it's the best implementation of it, in fact, where at any point it nails the Battlefield feel. And I don't mean the game from EA. I mean that there is this sprawling Halo sandbox and you can do a lot. Like, they nailed that for multiplayer, which is something that I don't think they've ever done properly. Like, that's the big thing about single player, right? That Halo does so well.
Yeah.
Sandbox, right? And here you have that opportunity to veer off at any time and go fight a boss mob. And maybe when you're doing that, like, I went and definitely killed some opponents from behind when they were trying to take care of the boss. So like, that's a great way to really add a lot of dynamism to the battles.
Great word.
And it just works really well. Your currency is constantly refilling. It's almost like Hearthstone in a weird way. You unlock, every level you unlock another like currency point, but they're constantly refilling. So you'll get 2, 3, 4, and you can save them or spend them. And I found that an interesting balance as well. Like, do I want to get, you know, my loadout, primary and sub weapon? Do I want to get, you know, just 2 decent weapons? Do I want to get 1 really great weapon and just a pistol? Do I want to try to save up and get 2 really good weapons? It was like, blew me away fantastic.
So constant respawning, or you have a certain amount of lives? What's
Constant
happening?
respawns,
Okay.
It takes like 10 seconds to come back.
All right.
Not too bad.
So sounds like, I mean, a few podcasts ago, we're like, hey, Halo's not our thing. We had that one guy write in that giant piece of
The lore
Yeah.
letter.
But
yeah.
see, now you sound like you just really want to play more Halo 5.
I really like this mode. I think if single player can deliver, it could be a lot better than I thought. And
Well,
we
the
can
single
move.
player's co-op, isn't it? Is
Yeah.
It, is
I
it-
was supposed to try it today, but I got sick and I stayed behind.
Gabriel.
It was horrible. It was,
I now feel sick.
it was,
I
the,
don't know
it
what's
was,
going
it
on.
was the chicken. Well, you got drunk.
Well,
I ate like Whole Foods, right? And then like I went back to my regular eating, which was
Bad choice.
which was chicken wings, and then my body's like, no, you gave me like healthy stuff. I don't want this anymore. And I was horribly
I tried to save you. It took you to Whole Foods both days.
yeah, I ate Whole Foods both days, but then at night,
Oh, you
yeah, like
fell back into your old habits.
yeah, I relapsed. One might say.
Speaking of old habits, next game I play is Division.
Nope.
And my old habits would have said that this is not in perfectly chronological. I'm skipping over Gigantic because we talked about it a lot.
Well,
before.
no, I thought you were gonna go Nintendo, whatever.
Okay. But I played The Division. And
I played it as well.
You
Did you
did.
play it?
no.
But me and Scott last year were at a developer roundtable for The Division where they had no idea what the game was.
Yep.
And we came away like, what the hell are they doing?
It looks good, but that was.
They're
that
making a
was it.
game.
This year,
Cool stuff.
it's better than I thought.
I wish I had a better partner because I was playing with Jake.
Oh, come on, man.
No,
You're going
no.
to slide my brother under the bus. He's not
Well-
even here.
Good, fine. He's not here to defend himself. Also, the guy that was like communicating to us, like telling
Yeah,
us what
yeah.
to, like how to do things.
Yeah.
His microphone wasn't working. We had like Turtle Beaches on, and then he had these other Turtle Beaches on, and whatever he said we could hear, but he kept cutting off. He was gonna be like, "Okay, here guys, you're supposed to do it," and we just didn't know what we were supposed to do. So the people we were playing against, which I think was you,
My team won for sure.
yeah. So I think you beat us. 'Cause
There were 6 players, and the way this worked, it was an interesting like duo battle mode where it was 2v2v2, and we entered the Dark Zone, which is kind of their like main combat
yeah,
evil area. Visually, it looked pretty nice. Not as impressive as like the past trailers have looked, but definitely good.
Yeah, you can see the downscaling happen.
Yeah, but the objective here was to go and acquire a piece of loot and then extract it via helicopter. And the way you did that was shoot off a flare, defend an area for like a minute and a half, and then extract the loot. So this was very much like a multiplayer type area. Nothing to do with single player, nothing to do with sort of the more faction type structure they talked about. But we were all trying to accomplish this objective at the same time.
Yeah.
And then once one party activated it, it kind of became like try and kill us type battle, right?
Unless everybody was being friendly, which never happened.
I don't know why you would be friendly.
Just let everybody get their loot.
Just take the loot and get out of there. But the only way to get this stuff out of the dark zone was to extract it. So there was like, it would have had like full game implications, right?
Yeah.
We were not able to see like the loot screen, but we each had a character with a specific loadout, and I thought some of those side powers were pretty cool.
Yeah.
Multiple abilities. My character had sort of a pulse grenade that allowed you to see,
and that turret. I like that turret
and
a
mini
lot.
turret that's a remote mini turret. Both those were really good, and it controlled really heavy.
Which is good, I think, because every shooter is like super fast paced now.
Yeah.
This is a little slower. You got to go to cover. I mean, even to like vault over something, usually you have to go into cover. And there's actually verticality to this. I didn't know. Like you can like climb a crane and get on top of this box that's like more elevated. And if they don't know you're there, right, and they're trying to extract the thing, and they think they're safe, you can just betray them at the last moment. Hopefully, get the drop on them. Throw a grenade. You can set up your turret. Like there's a lot of strategy that can go into that.
There's a lot of systems too that we didn't even fully see. They talked about sort of this like rebel system where I could have gone and tried to kill you right from the beginning, but that would have like basically made me visible to all other players and put me at more risk. So they haven't really described exactly what this full thing is going to look like, right? Like the integration with all the other players, the PvE and PvP and all that stuff. But it seems like there's some pretty cool stuff at work, and I think just for me the best part was that it occupies its own space in terms of feel, and I liked how it felt. It reminded me almost of, I want to say like Killzone in third person because of the weightiness, but it almost felt even better, like but different. Like it just has you're taking cover. Your characters are very bulky looking. It fit like the environment, like trudging through this snowy city.
Yeah,
I was very happily surprised.
Yeah, like I had no interest for the game at all, but now I just can't wait to try more because if they can have more modes like this that are actually different, because you don't see this a lot. The extract and defend it from two other teams.
Sure.
Like, I don't know, just the way it was structured, I appreciated the fact that it took a fresh approach. And I'm excited for it now, I think.
And I'm most excited for just like the loot systems, the upgrades, the
Which
inventory.
I wish we would have seen.
Because they talked about, bigger backpacks, like all that kind of stuff. Like that's all in there. And I remember last year them being very vehement about like, we want multiple upgrade paths. We want your character to be very whatever. You were getting XP, there was loot, and there's going to be different colored loot. Like that's like a big focus for them.
Yeah, because we were all dressed the same.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see where that goes. And that game is coming out soonish.
No.
Early 2016.
Is it early? I thought it was
they
fall.
said spring.
I thought they said fall.
I think I said spring.
You're probably right.
You think that gets delayed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, over and over again.
Hands down.
You know what's not going to get delayed, Scott?
What's that?
The Nintendo lineup.
None of that is going to get delayed. I can safely say that.
Yeah. Scott, did you play anything at Nintendo?
I played nothing for Nintendo yet.
How many games did they
I
have?
haven't been in the
They
first
had, they had
party
like
yet.
4 or 5 games, right? We played.
For Wii U. But they also had a bunch of 3DS.
Well, no. They had 2 3DS games.
3.
What was the third one? It's Metroid, Zelda.
No, 4. Metroid, Zelda, Paper Mario,
They
and
had,
Yokai Watch.
why the hell didn't we play Paper
I
Mario?
did today.
So that tennis game was a Wii U game.
Yeah, and let's talk about that first. 'Cause
No.
Gabe decided to step up to the plate and challenge me in Mario.
That's not exactly
Tennis.
how it went, but yeah.
That game is a lot of fun. It's like it's just like more Mario Tennis or whatever, but it's really well
I haven't
implemented.
played Mario Tennis since like the Nintendo 64, or if it was even around. The last time I played it, I was a wee little lad in Texas riding cows around or something. Whatever you do down there.
Yeah.
I forget because I'm in LA now.
Basically, Gabe scored 1 point on me in 2 sets.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
Wasn't it?
We can move on to the best game Nintendo showed, which is last year at E3. Mario Maker was just like, hey, create a little level with Mario Bros. 1. I was like, this is kind of gimmicky. $20 download, please. This year, holy crap.
I don't think people will understand how cool that game is until you see it.
You cannot comprehend the level of just innovation and fun that game holds. We got to play. they had at least 40 levels pre-created.
Yeah.
And some were very simple, just like different, twists on the typical Mario level. But the ones we played, I specifically asked the guy, like, hey, show me the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Man, you're spanning across Super Mario Bros. 1, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, and Super Mario, or New Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
And this game is now called Super Mario Maker, and, like...
It's super.
It's super good. Like, we did levels that... It's definitely taking a Little Big Planet approach where some of the levels, like that bumper cars level.
That bumper cars level, it looked cool, but it seemed frustrating to play. Like, you just couldn't get through.
I guess the point I'm saying is, like, it's a totally different style of gameplay, right? What they did in this is they put a bunch of enemies in Bowser Clown cars, and you were in a Bowser Clown car, and you had to fly through them. Well, Scott got kidnapped by Reggie for disliking Nintendo things.
He's
dead. We've had a change in atmosphere. I've got my hood on. Gabe's getting looser.
Yeah.
And we're ready to go. Mario Maker. Okay. What's really great about it is that it shows the ability for Mario to be something more, I think, than just like a traditional little kid's like side-scrolling game. Like, there's a lot.
There's some really hardcore stuff in this game.
Yeah, and interesting things. Like, we talked about the bumper cars, and there was also a level that reminded me of like the Incredible Machine, where you're waiting for this P block, or P switch.
Yeah, P switch.
And you had to follow it along all these different like ramps and different conveyor belts, and eventually grab it off a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
And make sure you were platforming correctly to get it. I mean, there were levels that were automatic that you just sat there and Mario went through the whole crazy, like they spaced them out perfectly.
The one level that stood out to me the most was the one where you ride that shell, right? And you're going all the way, and you're dying because this block is falling on you.
That one was so genius. So this is...
Oh my God. I love that level. Go on.
This level, there's a cannon shooting out a beetle shell, right?
Yeah.
And there's all these platforms to the right. So your initial thing is, it's called beetle surfing. So the initial thought is, man, I'm going to jump on this and surf across. Well, when you get across, there's these thwomps. And so you can't get past them. And I'm trying to jump. I'm trying to get off the shell. I'm trying to just let it go by. What you have to do is go to the left side of that cannon so that it fires the shell towards you on the left. Let it land on your head because that's a new ability.
Yeah.
Shellhead Mario.
Shellhead.
And then you surf, and then... the thwomps don't hurt you.
Yeah, because
you have
you have a very hard head.
Just like real genius stuff, and it's going to be such a fun time when they detail all their level sharing. It seems pretty good. There's going to be like ratings, top levels, top creators, new up and coming stuff. They're really committed to making that a curated community.
Yeah,
and that's going to be just a heck of a lot of fun to check in every day, every couple days, and see an infinite plethora of content.
We didn't mess with creating levels because we're both dumb. Like, personally, I can't.
Not my thing.
Yeah, I don't have the brain capacity to, because the conveyor belt one, that's like a pretty difficult puzzle.
All the
like,
spacing, just in general, like spacing it out so Mario can make the jumps and stuff, or so that they're hard but not too hard.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of the Talos Principle.
Okay.
Like, I don't know why it seemed like one of those puzzles while you were
Yeah.
getting through. I was like, fuck. Oh. Yeah, I could say that shit.
Really smart. It was just really smart.
Yeah.
Really smart. And I think that the different styles are going to keep that game fresh. It was just 8-bit Mario, whatever. But the fact that they've redone the models for all the games, like you can put Kamek into Mario World, Giant Baby Bowser into Mario World.
Yeah, which they weren't in those games before.
Right. Or you can, I mean, Kamek was technically, but but
yeah.
in this form, and you can put, like Kamek into New Super Mario Bros., et cetera, et cetera.
You can put things underwater that don't belong underwater.
Yeah, it's going to be a really awesome time. And I don't think that... I think the messaging on that game, like, hey, make your own Mario level, sounds like an iPhone, like, 5-minute title, but the real genius is, like, playing all the stuff.
Yeah, this is, like, Little Big Planet on another level, I think.
And I think that the mechanics here are so sound that it's going to end up reviewing and being received better than Little Big Planet.
Yeah, and just very quickly, you get to play as you put an amiibo.
Oh yeah,
man! You got to jump on the thing as Link. You got to finish a Mario level as like 8-bit Link.
You press the up on the D-pad and he holds to the Triforce.
Yeah, man.
You can tap the amiibos and there's like this costume. You can get a costume mushroom, and then whatever amiibo you have tapped in, he'll become like Wii Fit Trainer.
Yeah.
Link. I'm assuming they'll do Samus and different ones.
I think they're doing most of them, right?
Yeah, which is going to be just again a fun little side thing for a game that should probably be like a cheap thrill, and instead I think it's going to be one of the deepest, best games of the year.
Yeah, but we disagree on you, because you said this is the best thing they had. I don't think so, because I think the best thing they had was Zelda.
The Zelda co-op game, Zelda Triforce Heroes.
Yeah, and people might say, man, stupid mobile Zelda, co-op, it's dumb. And I sort of thought the same thing, because I haven't liked the mobile Zelda in a long time. Like, I didn't like blowing into my DS for...
You didn't play Link Between Worlds, though.
No, I did not.
Which is the best of the bunch.
That's blasphemy, is what it is.
It's the best of the bunch.
I'm sure it is, but it's also blasphemy.
How is it? You love Link to the Past.
I love it so much
This
that
is a sequel.
I know, but it's the same world.
No, it's a totally different game.
All right, we'll see. I'm gonna play it.
This is a 3-player Zelda game with a cooperative focus and dresses, costumes, skins.
The costumes are so cool. And it's not just like aesthetics. Like they each do have a
We
different.
didn't really see much of that, but
Because I forgot her name. It was me, Zach, and another.
I has Cupquake.
her.
Yeah.
She's like super famous, and I just don't know who she is. Yeah. We played with her, and she had a different. I picked Zelda dress.
I picked Zelda dress.
Yeah, that's just what we do over here. But she picked another one, and she didn't have the. Did she have the exact same abilities that we did?
Yeah, but I don't know if they had all that stuff implemented for that level or whatnot. But there are going to be different abilities or at least stats for the characters based on their outfits.
We only played through one dungeon.
Yeah, and I wonder if that game is going to be structured like linearly or like pick from a menu different dungeons like we did.
I think if it's that, I'm cool with that. Are you? Or do you want it? I think it has a story and everything, right?
I'm not even sure. I haven't read a lot. We've been so inundated with being at E3, like going online has been kind of the least of our priorities.
Yeah.
But what was cool about it is, I don't know if you remember, played Four Swords Adventures.
I remember
for
it.
GameCube.
Yes.
I played that recently, actually.
Why?
I never
okay,
played it. I wanted to check out Cooperative Zelda, and that game felt frustrating because so much of it is like tied around getting the high score, getting the rupees, being better than your friends.
That's a mini game, Zelda type thing.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot to do like stand on platforms, but this was much more like, hey, like there's a new totem mode where you can pick the links up.
Yeah.
And we had to defeat a boss or an area, a boss, I guess, by
It was a boss.
toteming up in 1, 2, 3 people totems. And then we would also use those totems to go get more hearts. Like it was structured a lot more to encourage cooperation and a lot less to be like, hey, get out the way. I'm going to roll into you, knock you over, and get in front of you. And
You did throw me off of a.
once.
Yeah.
You were being bad.
He threw me off a ledge. I said all I said was, Zach, I think you're great. He picked me up and he threw me out. That's all. That's what
You were
happened.
trying to wear my dress.
I did.
Nobody copies my clothes.
I wore your dress, and we defeated the boss. The boss was very cool, right?
Yeah.
Because it starts, he's on ground level, right? Everybody throw arrows at him, swing with the swords. Fine. Then he goes like one level up. He's like this giant squid thing, not a squid,
Right.
A goo, and his weak a goo from World of
Not
Goo.
a boo from Aladdin, but a goo.
A goo. All right. So his weak point goes one level up. So
Right.
one of us had to get on top of the other. The bottom person, which was usually you, because you were better at it than the rest of us. You were navigating. You point us in the right direction. Then the other one of us shoots an arrow.
I got the Triforce of Wisdom.
What was my Triforce?
Triforce of Politeness.
It's not a thing.
Well, you either got courage or power.
I'm courageous.
Okay, courage. Gave the courage. Yeah, for sure. You're like an owl.
Yeah.
Valiant, courageous.
Yeah.
Protecting her flock.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I was on top of Zach in the game, as
Not in real life,
He
man.
was that too. He was looking under my dress, I think. But yeah. So you take care of the boss again. He goes up one more level. Then you have to do the full totem, which is all three of us on top of each other. That got a little bit tricky because we were trying to communicate as best we could, but there was a lot of people watching us too.
Yeah, you're gonna have to play this game in a room with 2 other people, which is my only fear. Like, is any of it accomplishable with one person? Because you needed 3 for that.
You can play solo. They give you dummies that you like.
Okay, then you pick them up and they do the work for you again. Okay, I don't know how the AI is going to function, but it was very cool. And yeah, it's not the Zelda we want, Zelda Wii U. That's not
I don't
coming.
mind it.
But
It's not Wii U. Yeah.
It's a nice riff on Zelda, and I think it felt. Look, like Nintendo's in a place where they're not needing or wanting to compete with anybody, and therefore they can take these risks on these games. Super Mario Maker, this is Zelda Triforce Heroes. They're games that a company makes when they don't like give a crap, right?
Yeah,
And
like-
but I love that. Like, it's creating some very unique stuff that feels unlike anything else, and it has the Zelda charm. You can do these little like cheers on the bottom screen,
Yeah.
touch screen, and
which I ignored on purpose.
and there is like loot. Right?
We had a Nintendo handler right next to us, the girl with the red shirt. She said, "Hey, you can press those things and do a cheer."
I was cheering, man.
Yeah,
That was one of my favorite parts.
No, I like because I said I know, and I just literally stood there and pressed
No,
it.
there's one where like Link's arms, like he pom-poms left, pom-pom right, pom-pom
Yeah.
left. I was tapping that
Yeah.
thing all day and night. What'd you think about Star Fox Zero?
Zero.
You give it a 0 out of 10?
No. You played a lot more of it than I did. You
Yeah.
played like a full level. You defeated the boss. I played 5 minutes of it, And like it's hard because you were explained how to do these things. He just said, "Here, now you try it." And I'm like,
You're
okay.
supposed to be paying attention.
I wasn't. I was watching, but I wasn't listening to the guy.
I think that it's gonna have limited appeal, and I don't think it's gonna sell that well.
The Star Fox ever,
I don't know. They act like it's like a marquee franchise, but no,
because they have no choice.
it's better than I expected.
Me too. It is better than I
Graphically, it
expected.
looks like poop.
Yeah.
The character models look cool.
What character models? You're on a ship.
The little portraits.
You mean the little portrait?
Yeah, they
Come
look
on,
cool.
man.
It's
Come
like
on.
Chuck E. Cheese mixed with Five Nights at Freddy's mixed with Nintendo. Those puppets, man. From that presentation, those are scary puppets.
You did a barrel roll.
I did barrel, and I turned into like a chicken. You
Yeah.
can go into walker mode where your R-wing turns into like a little mini chicken fox thing. But what I liked about that game was it's not all on rails. There's some free flying sections. Those are my favorite. It just has kind of a Jake, my brother, described it as like a Chuck E. Cheese arcade game, but it has kind of like that arcadey vibe that I didn't mind. I don't think it's going to be an award winner, but as a variety piece, I think it's a nice game.
Yeah, better than I thought. Even me playing it for the very small amount of time because we had to run. I expected like I pick up the controller and I was gonna hate it, but I didn't hate it. I just wanted to know how to do things.
The only thing I can't help but think is like, if that game didn't have Star Fox, say this game was just called like Animal Pilots for Xbox One,
Yeah.
people would be like,
Yeah, they hate it.
oh boy.
Yeah, it's just the worst because it doesn't look great. There's no textures.
And it's just not, it doesn't, it was funny because I was playing it and I'm like, it doesn't control well, but this is part of the fun. But
Yeah.
like any other game, I'd be like, ugh.
You were supposed to like look at the gamepad. It was, and I can't blame the game because I just didn't have enough time to learn how to
Yeah.
do it. So it's not that I think the game's bad or anything. I'm sure it'll be cool, and I can't wait to like get into it. But
I think it was the weakest thing they had there.
yeah, I love, man, Zelda. That was like up there with me for that day.
Zelda was pretty cool. I think Mario Maker is going to be a hit this fall.
Yeah.
That comes out September 11th, which may not be the best mojo, but it has a lot of mojo going for it.
I'm
already.
making the Twin Towers in Mario.
Okay, thanks for the tribute, Gabe.
All right.
And we'll move on to our tribute to Black Ops 3.
Was that next?
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
we're just
All
kind
right.
of going
I'm sorry.
through. Black Ops 3, we play.
We played 40 minutes
Hello,
of it.
hello, I'm still here.
We went into this dark room
We
with like
went into a dark room with some of the
pro
guys
players.
from Optic,
Yeah,
and we got to
which
play
wasn't great for us.
40 minutes of Black Ops 3 multiplayer. So we played through all the major modes except Search and Destroy. Really played Hardpoint, Dominion, Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag. I think that's the. I'm not the hugest Call of Duty player, right?
Yeah.
I played all of them though, and I'm gonna say I think that's the best feeling Call of Duty I've ever played.
the best sounding.
The guns sound insanely good.
My ears hurt.
It was, but like firing that assault rifle, I was like,
yeah.
dude.
Even when you put the silencer on it, it still sounds way louder than it should.
The big addition here is these specialists, where before every match you pick one of these special characters. It could be a robot, it could be some sweet,
Could it be a ghost robot?
could be a ghost robot, it could be some sweet forest girl, it could be some hardcore military guy, and then they have one of two abilities, either a passive or an active.
Yeah.
These abilities fill up through the round naturally, and if you do well, they fill up faster. So you might be able to unleash them 2-3 times a match, or at least once. There's stuff like have a crazy bow and arrow that fires like one-shot kill shots. They might have
It blows up and it does an area of effect. Actually.
yeah, they might have an arc lightning gun. They might have gravity spikes that you jump up and slam into
They
the
have
ground.
a one-shot kill pistol.
Yeah, or they could do passive things like make you a little bit faster, improve your score streak multiplier, like give you extra score streak points, area of effect type things, and all. I picked the active ones all the time, just 'cause I felt like that was a cooler thing to earn rather than like I don't want to pick like ooh I move with 15% more speed
Yeah.
now. But all in all, like the way I've been describing it to people is I think they found the perfect mix between the futuristic, fast-moving Advanced Warfare and the traditional Call of Duties of the Modern Warfare and Black Ops era. Because it does have a jetpack, but it feels much more refined.
It goes away very quickly.
Yeah. And the side stuff doesn't feel superfluous. It feels like it's just giving you extra mobility. And then the shooting.
The shooting feels
so
so good.
good.
I didn't like. I mean, obviously we were playing against people that aren't Optic, right? And
Yeah.
we don't play Call of Duty all the time, so that wasn't so cool. But if this has good matchmaking and I'm matched up with people on my skill level, that could be so good. I mean, we were still doing decent. It's not like we were like not killing them at all. So I had a really good time. And I am also not a big Call of Duty guy. I play the campaigns and I play the multiplayer the first couple of weeks, but after that, like people just like surpass me. Just there's nothing I can do. But this game followed the trend that a lot of these games did for me, which was I had like no expectations for them, and now I can't wait to play more of it.
All in all, this E3 so far tells me that the consoles are finally hitting their stride. Everything we've played so far has been like pretty darn good. I can't think of one game that was like, well, I can't think of one. We'll get to it maybe at the end. But everything was like really good. And then there's one that's just like, but you can tell like, hey, the developers are really like on their second or third generation of games for this generation.
Yeah.
And so being their, not their first attempt, they have a lot more understanding and polish, and they're taking advantage. Stuff is looking good. Stuff is playing good. And Black Ops, I think adding that specialist thing is enough of a tweak that it's going to give
It's a big tweak.
much more of a personalized feel when you play. And I didn't feel like the abilities were so overpowered that like, oh god, you have to watch out, remember what the robot does.
Because they're limited.
They're very limited, and it felt better than Destiny because most of them were like very skill shot based. None of them were like, oh my god, go into like, god mode.
Except the minigun.
The minigun, but again, you can activate that and get killed instantly.
Yeah, and then you don't have it
You
anymore.
lose it,
Yeah.
right? It does carry over if you don't use it, but if
Yeah.
you do, like, it's gone.
So thumbs up for Call of Duty.
Big thumbs up
Yeah.
to Call of Duty. One thing I want to point out that I really like that I didn't see much of in Advanced Warfare, there's wall running now and the jumping. The maps seem to almost have more of a platforming element to them.
Dude, how many maps did we play on?
I think we played on 4 maps.
It was different. All of them were different. Right?
Yeah, and,
Okay.
but some of the maps had definite like gaps, and you had to like jump across.
Did you see that one time?
all 3 of us fell into the pit.
Yeah,
or whatever?
it was 4 of us.
Oh god,
4 of us were going.
You don't expect that to be in the middle of the map in Call of
Yeah,
Duty.
like
So
yeah, we were all running right, and we were just gonna jump, and there's this giant gap, and 4 of us fell into it. Not even 4 of us like on the same team. I think it was just like a whole bunch of us just fell.
yeah, and I think removing the exo abilities, adding these specialists, you're not going to run into the case where like people are killing you from every direction. The map design seemed to be more, again, traditional, right?
Yeah.
And I really like that. So big thumbs up to Black Ops 3. If we venture to a different area of E3, we got to see. You want to talk about Gigantic a little bit?
We can talk about Gigantic. We met a guy named Thor that looked like Thor.
I think that was his handle, is Thor.
No, I know. Yeah, okay, yes, I said it's his name. It wasn't his name. His handle is Thor, and he really did look like Thor. He had the hair. He had big arms. It was cool. I like that.
So Gigantic is a free-to-play game coming to Xbox One and PC. It's basically a third-person MOBA, except much more control. So this isn't like Smite where you're still in lanes and you're still,
Yeah.
limited. You're jumping, you're running, It's like an
Control-
action game, right?
Yeah, you control these points to get these like perks that you can either get like a low duty that goes around healing, or goes around attacking other enemies. Well, how many was it? How many players total? Was it 6-on-6?
It's either 5-on-5 or 6-on-6, and the structure of this is there's 2 guardians, one on the end of each map.
Giant guardian.
Giant guardians, the edge of the map. And what you're trying to do is basically acquire enough victory points by killing guys, filling up these perk slots with their summon slots.
Yeah.
And then you're able to attack the opponent guardian. And from there, it's got like a 3-meter health system. You're trying to do as much damage as possible. And when you get one of the meters down, it'll get back up. And the main part of that game, though, is just the fights, right?
Yeah.
The inter-team battles, like you would find in any MOBA. Except here, you're fully controlling everybody.
Yeah.
It is very skill shot based, but it also has kind of just like a melee, more welcoming feel to it.
Depending on your class.
Yeah.
There's a lot of classes. There's a lot of characters. I think they've said like 20 something, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch already in there, and being free to play, it's gonna, I'm sure, be structured in sort of the like, hey, here's the free ones, here's the ones you buy.
Yeah. Another cool thing, one account for both PC and console. So whatever you earn carries over. Whatever skins you buy carries over. All that stuff. And as far as I've never really played a MOBA, but as far as like free to play games go, this one was really fun.
It's hard to kind of describe the actual mode, right? Like,
Because there's
guardian
so
thing,
many systems in there.
and there's a bunch of stuff going on. But basically, all you have to know is like pick a cool character. Like my guy was a crazy ninja frog, so his
Yeah.
melee attack was just punching and kicking. That's like his generic attack. Then he had a tongue lash where he would throw out his tongue, pull the enemy towards you. He had a big kick to knock back the enemy. And then I had like an ultimate move, which was sort of like a crazy uppercut. And I might have even had one more. You're upgrading throughout the match, right? As
Yeah.
you level up, and you're getting new static
Another
abilities.
one, you get a passive or a more attack based one.
Yeah. So you every couple levels, I think it's like 3, 5, 7, and 9. You acquire a passive ability, and then the other levels.
You get to pick,
every
don't you?
No. every level you get a point for one of your skills.
Okay.
To boost one of your skills, and then every like I said, 3, 5, 7, 9, I believe you get a passive ability.
Okay.
It's just like plus 15% to attack, and there's like a menu of like 5 you can pick from.
Yeah. That stuff was a little overbearing because it was my first time playing it. You've played it before. They were trying to explain it as best as they could, but they were using a lot of like terms that I'm sure they're familiar with, but I wasn't. So
I think it sits in a really nice spot. If you think of something like Evolve as kind of a MOBA super light, right? Just because it has that asymmetrical structure. Well, that's not very MOBA-like, but since it has like the arena structure,
yeah.
Then you take something like League of Legends or Dota and label that hardcore. This kind of sits in between. There's a lot of systems that do have depth, right? There's no item shop, none of that, but there is like this leveling up system, the upgrade system, and the variety in character classes and sort of the team composition stuff. But at the same time, it controls like a game you can play with a controller. And that was my favorite part, is that this felt and worked super well on Xbox One.
Yeah.
And as a free-to-play title, everyone can try it out, and I hope that they're able to build a base, because the style is really the coolest part, I think.
Yeah.
That game has just it oozes charm and vibrancy and just personality. Every character looks so different.
Yeah, and they all behave very differently too. Like I was a healer, I think they called it, but yeah, I was a medic class. I was going around just healing everybody as best I could. My attacks were more limited, so I was dying a lot, but I was able to do better just points wise, just based off the healing, and all of them are different, because even there's other healers that also do they behave differently, I think is what the guy was saying. I don't know, I didn't get to try any of the other characters. But it's coming to betas this year, I think, or something.
August is when it's gonna hit beta.
Yeah, August.
And then they're targeting a full release for fall, I believe.
Wow.
So it's a nice get for Xbox. Like, as an exclusive title, I think it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I have played it twice, so I've got to play multiple characters, and they did play very differently, and they both were fun.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to work on conveying what the heck is going on. Because even after I was done playing a second time, I still had to ask, like, how did this exactly happen?
Yeah.
What is...
We beat you.
How are the Guardian... Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, man. You did.
Yeah, we did.
I thought I played pretty well.
Yeah.
But it's one to keep your eye on for sure.
Yeah.
Let's go to Until Dawn. This is one of the only Sony exclusives.
What a long demo that was, in my opinion.
It flew by for me.
No, well, you started it. I started it maybe 2 minutes after you. Right? And I kept looking over to see if we were relatively nearby, and most of the time we were, right? And when I saw that you were done, I'm like, oh, God, yes. Because it felt like I played it forever. I don't know if it was a combination of me just being tired and very hungry.
It really reminded me of playing Beyond Two Souls at E3 2 years ago. Because that game, I was like, okay, I get what it is. Now I don't want to play it because the story is like the only thing that counts here.
Yeah.
So this is the like teen horror movie, choose your own adventure game.
Boy, is it a teen horror movie.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was a little turned off by the super cheesy dialogue.
Yeah.
And kind of like the, oh my God, like vibe that it gave off, like this guy hugged this girl and now we're going to get whiny about it. There's like almost no gameplay.
There sure wasn't. You hold down the trigger a lot. You press the left stick in one way or another a whole lot. But the story seems like it could be cool. Like, I hated seeing it like this because I don't want anything spoiled. Like, if it's a story-based game, I want to do it all. This probably isn't a very long game because you're meant to replay it for different scenarios. If a character dies, he or she is dead for the story that time. But it seems cool. You have this maniac after you, a lot of creepy stuff going on, climbing up a lot of ladders. We did that. But I don't want to say too much else about the game because I think I would feel unfair because, I was just so tired. We played it at the end of the day. But in the concept of it alone, it's a novel concept. You're playing through a teen horror movie. I don't know if any other game can say that, but...
Yeah, I mean, plot-wise, I guess it has its own unique spot. The interesting thing to me is, like, Heavy Rain, very much a game that's about walking around and talking, right?
Yeah.
But Heavy Rain is still structured in a way that the environments are kind of large.
Yeah.
This felt like I was in, like, a cubicle, and then I'd move to another cubicle, and then I'd move... Like, the areas you have to explore are incredibly tiny.
Yeah, and... I think that there's like varying paths, right? There's varying paths.
Yeah.
We were girl guy. We don't know the character's name, so we can't spoil. I think both the guys died in the exact same way for us, right? With the thing on the throat, right?
And that's going to be like the biggest deal with this game is like how much do those choices really affect things? How binary is it? It's just like, oh, this girl dies, by falling off a cliff, and now she dies by getting squashed.
Even if you try saving her, she dies.
So where is that variety going to come in, or where is the choosing of your?
Yeah, to be fair,
your
it was a
adventure?
demo, so I don't know if this is just for demo purposes or.
I gotta say, I was a little let down. Is this coming in at a full price, or is it?
Yeah, I thought it was $40, but I think now it's full price. I don't know.
I'm gonna pull it up on Amazon real quick. I think it could be interesting, but it's so very much like a visual novel. I mean, there's a little bit of stuff you're going on. Like the way the shooting works, to give you an idea, is there's a set point on the character you have to hit,
And you're on a timer to
and
get
then
to
you're on
that
a
point.
timer to move the right stick to that target, and then click the trigger. So it's not really shooting. I think it's gonna be a nice game to sort of like watch. I hate to say it, but
to say something positive about it, right?
it is a $60 full price title.
It's very atmospheric, right?
Yeah.
Right off the bat, the graphics weren't super like impressive. Like there seemed some like really weird like facial animations, but as I went on, I think I just got more acclimated to what the game actually looks like. Because
It did look better. I had that same experience. Like, wow, it's looking good. There's like a strange filter
yeah,
over the top of it. That's not the ideal environment, right? You don't want to be playing on a show floor with 50,000 people around you and all the lights on. In your home,
but yeah, it was very hard to see. Yeah,
and I will say, like, Beyond Two Souls did not show well for me at E3 when I played that, and I ended up really liking that game at home. So I'm willing to give it a chance, but you just got to go into it knowing like there's not much to do. You're gonna be like picking like, do you want Johnny to tell her off, or do you want Johnny to support her? Do you want Sarah to try and save Johnny, or do you want Sarah to save herself? Like that's what you're doing.
At
for
least
most
in
of the
that's
game.
in what we played. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Day one stuff. The only other thing I think I tried out the Destiny expansion, which has some new
Stuff.
super abilities. We only played PvP.
It's not for you.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
So we'll just leave it at that. If you like the Destiny stuff, I'm sure having 3 new abilities would be great. To me, it's such a limited change,
It's expensive.
and it's a $40 pack, and we don't know everything that's in it. So hopefully they reveal that. I gotta say the hardcore Destiny community is kind of scary. They're really into Destiny, like really into Destiny. And I feel like at that point you could sell them like the littlest change, and they're gonna freak out. I don't know. At a certain point, like, does that game start catering back to the mainstream ever? I don't know.
I don't think it can. How?
Destiny 2 has to.
Yeah, but that's a long ways out. That's another conversation entirely. What else did we play?
I played Skylander Superchargers.
Yeah,
If you want to hear about that,
I don't know if they do.
well, do you want to hear about it?
Do I? Not in particular.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you anyways.
Yeah,
What's cool about Skylander Superchargers is that Bowser and Donkey Kong are in it.
sure are.
I don't know how they
They paid
made
money.
this deal work.
It's money. is
Who
what it
paid
is.
money though?
Somebody paid money.
Do you think Nintendo paid Activision to be in the game, or do you think Activision paid Nintendo to have access to Bowser and DK?
Maybe there's just no money involved. Maybe just like
like a mutual high five.
Yeah, like-
Reggie's high five, Bobby Kotick.
yeah. Reggie and Bobby Kotick. Here's what it probably happened. They went to dinner.
Yeah.
Right. Reggie was showing him all the new
Like we're both
Skylanders.
big dudes with curly hair.
Yeah, Reggie was showing him all the new amiibos.
Yeah.
Bobby was showing. Bobby's not even there anymore.
Oh.
He doesn't work there anymore, dude.
Good
but still, this
riddance.
is still how it happened. He was showing him all the new Skylanders. Like they fell, right?
Okay.
And they both picked up the wrong ones. And
like,
if
oh
something
God,
clicked in their
yeah.
head, they're like, wow.
So these are Amiibo Skylanders. There's I kid you not, a switch on the bottom and it says like Amiibo, and you turn it and it says Skylanders.
Yeah.
It's super silly.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to see Bowser and DK in a different kind of game. I mean, it's Skylanders like through and through. That's what it is. I like the vehicle edition. It mixes up the gameplay a bit. It felt slow, but that's how it felt at E3 last year. So I think that's something that they speed up along the way
Yeah.
when the game comes out. I mean, it's a quality product. I think between Disney Infinity, Skylanders, and some of the Amiibo stuff, like the Skylanders games are probably the best games. So
yeah, no, Disney Infinity.
I think Skylanders is better.
Really?
I think the combat in Skylanders elevates it above, because Disney Infinity combat is basically, maybe it'll be different this year because they have Ninja Theory on board
Yeah.
for the Star Wars segment, but typically Disney Infinity combat is pretty lame.
Okay.
But I mean, there's not a lot to say. It was basically Skylanders. It was very cool to see the interaction between the vehicles and the character, because now you can put a vehicle and a character on. So I had like this crazy Fiesta, like Day of the Dead skeleton guy inside Bowser's like flying Death Koopa mobile. And just like in general, like Bowser's spawning these little red Koopas, and he can knock them and they spin into enemies.
Just keep having more babies.
He can turn into Magma Bowser, breathe fire. Donkey Kong's, smashing his barrel, playing the bongos. I think it's going to be a big hit. It'll be very interesting, like we've said many times. Lego Dimensions, Skylanders, Disney Infinity. They're all kind of up in their game this year.
Yeah.
Like bringing some Nintendo stuff in, vehicles. There's going to be multiplayer, I'm sure, races. They're not talking about it, but there will be. And then, Disney with Star Wars, and then Lego Dimensions. That is going to be a ferocious fight.
I'm rooting for Disney.
You're rooting for Disney.
The figures look so cool.
Cooler than Amiibo?
Yeah. The Star Wars one in particular.
Star Wars ones are cool. I'm hoping to get my hands on some of those by the end of the show because they are giving them out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go kidnap all the Star Wars figures.
Yeah, I think that about covers it. God, my
I
voice.
played
I'm so
Mighty.
sorry.
I played Mighty Number 9, and that's cool. It's a lot faster than I thought it was.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get into it a whole lot, but I just wanted to mention it very quickly. It's cool.
And the game that we played before my voice completely goes here that I didn't like was Drawn to Death.
I liked it a lot.
This is David Jaffe's game.
I talked to David Jaffe about it.
I think this is one of the.
Here, let me talk.
Okay.
All right. What I liked about this game, first of all, free to play, so you can choose for yourself.
Thank God. I don't know anyone that should pay for this.
I would pay $15.
Okay.
I'm gonna buy skins if they're available.
It controls like crap.
No, it doesn't. Dude, the jumping is actually cool. Like, the double jumping is good. The weapons actually all feel very good. The spawning, best spawning in a game ever, because it actually, like, adds some...
You fall from the sky.
Yeah, but you pick your point. So if I see that you're fighting someone, like on the side of this building, I'm going to spawn in the corner so you can't see me, but I can surprise you. You know what I mean? There's some strategy to spawning now. And there's no more spawn trapping because you're picking where you're going to spawn. If you want to spawn away from everybody, you do that.
I just thought it controlled like crap. I thought the guns felt like crap. And
I disagree with all of that.
I feel bad saying this, but to me it felt like a student project.
No.
The visuals,
it looked really
the style.
Cool. I thought stylistically...
I'm glad we totally disagree because that's fun.
Yeah.
But
I thought it looked really cool.
I literally put the controller down and I made like a face at Gabe and was like...
See, I kept playing and I didn't even know you had stopped.
Yeah, I was just like so done.
Yeah, whatever. I liked it a lot.
That's good.
Like, you pick up weapons. It's more like a classic arena shooter because, there's, power weapons that you go
You
pick
talk
up.
about Link to the Past, these classic arena shooters, Final Fantasy VII. Are you really like 40 years old or something?
25.
I'm 25 too, and I don't remember any of this stuff.
I don't know what you were doing.
I was playing Mario, man.
I was playing Mario too.
But I was playing Little Mermaid for NES.
I was playing The Lion King.
For Super Nintendo?
Yeah, and Aladdin.
Aladdin's a really good game. Genesis Aladdin. It's a
Yeah.
good version.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good, like, back then the licensed games were...
The Lion King on Super Nintendo.
It's a good game.
A fantastic game.
There's some really interesting ones. I think that covers everything that we played day one.
Give Drawn to Death a chance because don't listen to Zach.
All right. Whatever.
Decide for yourself because whatever. Maybe it's like not cool. Whatever. You don't like it and that's okay. But if it's free to play, right? There's no reason not to do it.
So Halo 5, Zelda Triforce Heroes, Star Fox Zero, Mario Tennis, Mario Maker, Super Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Do we see anything else? Oh, they had Yoshi's Woolly World, but I already have that game, so we didn't play that. Black Ops 3, Skylanders, Destiny, Drawn to Death, Until Dawn. I think that covers it for day one.
That Cuphead was like on day 0, and Cuphead's super neat.
Cuphead is super neat.
I played Cuphead for like 40 minutes, I think.
It's like just that like really charming downloadable game
It's
that you
hard
know
as hell.
is gonna take up a lot of your time.
It is hard as hell.
Which I think it needs to be for.
Don't let the
It's just boss fights.
Yeah, he said it's like 80% boss fights.
Yeah, which is an interesting idea.
But still, don't let the aesthetics fool you. That game is hard.
It's like bullet hell with a little bit of character action.
It's not bullet hell.
I mean, it's mostly about holding fire and dodging.
Yeah, well, it's a side scroller, but it's just bosses.
But the bosses, the way they're structured, is much more like.
These bosses have a lot of health.
Yeah. So it's like dodge, 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 shoot, 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 dodge, 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 shoot, shoot, shoot.
Yeah, it's fucking hard.
That's why I'm saying it's more like a bullet hell type thing.
Yeah.
So a very good first day. Tomorrow we've got a lot of stuff: Assassin's Creed Syndicate, For Honor, Yooka-Laylee, Battleborn, Ghost Recon, Deus Ex, and we'll bring Tomb Raider in that as well. And then
I still
before
want to see Mirror's Edge.
we're gonna see that on the third day.
Okay.
So we'll have 2 more casts for you guys at least, and then maybe a wrap-up show. A lot more good stuff. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to leave us a rating and subscribe on the new feed. That
We
is,
didn't mention it. Sorry Max wasn't here, but it's super late right now.
yeah. Max is sleeping in good old Canada.
Yeah.
He should be on tomorrow. But thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed this really quick but also long rundown
Yeah.
of all the games that we saw today. Epic first day, I think, hands down, like this is my favorite E3. So I'm excited for tomorrow and a lot of good stuff that may even top today in terms of what we play. They don't know this yet, but you're going to get sick tomorrow.
I am going to get sick tomorrow.
And you're not going to be able to go to E3. It's a really bad premonition to make, but I'm feeling it, Gabe.
We're playing with time here.
I hate to let you down, but life is strange, man.
Life is strange.
Life is strange. Thank you guys for being awesome and making this possible.
Tomorrow we'll try not to hold the mics in our hands.
Yeah, we'll have a better setup, but we wanted to get real close and comfortable today.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys are having a great week and enjoying E3 from home. It's been fantastic thus far, and tomorrow we'll see if it continues to impress. Until that time, though, guys and girls, thanks so much for watching. Fantastic day for myself. Twitter.com/GhostHero for Gabe. Twitter.com/Volatile Gabe.
Reggie, please let Scott go.
Yeah, save Scott at some point and return Max to us via the interwebs. Till that time, drink some hot chocolate. Thanks again. Stay safe, and we'll see you all later.